that.
Welcome back, Jammers. It's me, Jason. I'm here with Mandy. I'm here with Adrian. And today we talk about what happens when it all gets turned off. The internet and everything else.
Not everything else, just the internet.
Why not everything else? How about all of it? The electrical grid, everything.
Well, we saw how fucking well that went.
Goes off.
What if we just focus on the internet?
So if it goes away, if the internet goes away, we go to what? Back to
The 80s.
80s, early 90s.
Because
it was
does
all
that,
common.
if the internet is gone, does that also not just kill cell phones?
Well,
Basically?
I mean,
Kill cell phones. And
no,
kill
you
phone
can still,
phones.
yeah, you can still call and stuff like that on the phones because we had cell phones before we had internet.
Well, right. No, but I mean,
So
all
I
the
think
new big screen cell phones can go away. Everybody's going back to flippies.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing that we're going to see is probably a downfall in academic learning, because isn't that where most people get their information from? Right, to Google. Who still knows how to use a library
what
and
did you
do
do in the
research?
80s, 90s, and even before then? You went to a library. They existed.
I was gonna say, like, what do you mean? What
yeah.
did you...
Research
But-
on things.
You can't think that way, because even now, people that once did the library thing have been so far from it that they've forgotten how it goes.
Right, like, I remember researching in a library. I'm sure I could do it now. I'm not sure if I'd want to put in the effort.
Well, if you want to learn about something, you've got to put in the effort. That would be the thing. A lot
Right.
of people it's right there at your fingertips, so it's easier
Exactly.
to learn and quick to learn. You don't have to go put in the manual effort. So you would actually have to go to a library, look through encyclopedias or research books or whatever, or information books on whatever information you want, and learn the old school way.
Right. I mean, it'd be a double-edged sword, because how do we fact check at an instance, but also misinformation gets spread less quickly? So
I think there'll be a downturn in quickly just grabbing stories and running with it, and more of an uptick on back to real journalism and fact checking and everything before a story gets out, because it's not all about being the first to have it to get the clicks anymore.
yeah.
Now it's back to
Telling
telling
the truth.
facts. and
Yeah, because if
truths.
you stop telling the truth in an era that people can't fact check, you would think you would get shut down pretty quickly, but I don't think the proof is there. I think misinformation would just linger.
I don't know. I don't think there was a lot of false information before the internet. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know, because what are you going back to? TV news, which they still have, but now they're actually having to do groundwork on stories, and newspapers come back into the swing of things.
That doesn't mean
Right.
they didn't lie to you. That just means you now have less access to prove that they lied quickly.
right,
True.
you still have to put in the effort and do your research on everything. But even now, when you read a news story on the internet, you go to Google or you go to a fact site to see if it's true. So you would still go. You would have to wait a while for that information, the real information, to get out. But
Do you think the conspiracy theory boom would have ever happened if we ever had the internet?
no, I think I don't think the internet had anything to do with the conspiracy theories boom. I think the amount of conspiracy theorists have remained the same. I mean, I just think it put everything out there in the face of everyone, because flat earthers still existed. They still talked to other people about flat earth and people that are interested would go and do their research on flat Earth and believe or disbelieve. So you would still have the same
Well,
amount.
I mean, the flat Earth community is like their biggest platform is YouTube, and without internet, we wouldn't have YouTube. And I've heard people like be converted from round earthers to flat earthers. So
I mean,
Well,
I don't think the information would be as quick. They would actually have to hold their seminars and all that stuff, and it would be slow.
but if you had to
recruit
research
people
from books and not the internet, where
you still
they
have
wouldn't be
TV.
able to...
You still have TV to see, the planet is round. You still have
Right, but
telescopes.
yeah,
You
they
still
wouldn't have like this like echo chamber of people that are just making up their own science to prove that the Earth is flat.
I think they were making up their own science before. It just again took forever to make up their own science, and the only outlet they had to present it was through seminars and person to person. I think it just just put everything in the people's faces, like with everything. It just put it out there where you could immediately go look and research this stuff and fall for it or not fall for it.
pretty much, I think you'd end up just seeing a wave of people going back to call-ins where they'd call a number and get a bunch of recorded messages about stuff.
Mm.
And then back to the snail mail, you just get mailers put out there if you wanted them and all that kind of stuff. And then seminars would start happening more across the country, I think. The loss of the internet, you lose the ability to see all of the things when it comes to we get information so quickly now that we could actually perceive the amount of people that actually follow X thing, where before we didn't get that because it wasn't reported or anything like that.
Right. You didn't know how many conspiracy theorists were out there because, you didn't see the likes on a shared story.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into, a whole stretch of things, crime and all these things. I think that it's probably, there may be a steady gain or loss or whatnot, but I think that it's just the information is at our fingertips that we can go out there and we see it so quickly that we think that there's been an uptick in this thing or that thing. But now it's just more prevalent and easy to see.
Okay.
So do you think having the internet and having information so fast hurts or helps us?
Both. I think it has absolutely put a damper on our ability to learn and retain, but it has helped for easy to get to knowledge. So
Right, but for me, I think that it hurts in a way that journalists are so quick to report a story, whether it's true or false, before they check it and fact check it, that people actually can get hurt and be hurt from that true or untrue story, because we're so quick to act and judge people and it not turn out not to be true, and then you turn around and try to justify yourself and how you acted toward a person because that story about them.
While I'll concede some of your points, I think that is also a part of the society that has become the wanting of information now, because it's not just them turning around and pumping out the stories without fact checking and stuff. It's also the people demanding information now, quickly, and then they don't care whether it's fact checked or not. They just irrationally run with it. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's both the society's fault and the journalism's fault for not actually doing what they're supposed to, and the society not holding them up to a higher standard and expecting fact-check information, and they're reporting truthful news, not hearsay, basically.
So access to infinite knowledge would be difficult without the internet. What do y'all think it would do to people's social lives? Would people get more or less lonely? Would people...
Oh, I absolutely think that they would be more lonely.
I don't.
Well, I mean...
I think you get the same thing now. I mean, people that don't want to talk to people don't talk to people.
Right.
If they want to send snail mail, then they send snail mail. It's just a slower text form for the people that do the texting now that don't want to talk to people in person or on a telephone.
Yeah.
So while some things change, I think it'll relatively balance out in the end.
Well, no, because you have things where Facebook, where families that are so far apart can see each other, can message each other, can talk to each other and share pictures that they wouldn't necessarily be able to share so quickly or at all. So, I mean, you do have the phones where you can send the pictures and text and all that, but I don't know. Maybe you're right, because basically what Facebook did was take text messaging and sending photos over the phone and just localize it to one place, and you can see multiple people at one time.
Yeah. I mean, they took letter writing and putting pictures in a letter and sending it to your family, to digitizing it into text messaging and pictures, into taking it online to a social media platform where now it's instant. So taking the internet away backtracks it to taking pictures and writing letters. So you're talking about instant sharing and seeing to now taking a couple days to get letter and pictures of people. So I necessarily don't think there'll be a change in loneliness or happiness, because I mean, how surface level friendship is it on Facebook?
No, you're right.
I mean, are people deep diving into friendships on social media? I mean,
yes, actually.
Sure, but how much of it is actual friendship? I mean, was it a true friendship?
What do you mean?
Or
Two
is
people
it...
that talk to each other and connect.
Right, but is it... See, it goes back to then you're just pen paling at that point. How...
But would it be possible for those people to find pen pals if not for the internet?
Yeah, there was pen pals before the internet.
Well,
I mean,
no, but some people meet other people through Facebook, through the internet.
Sure.
Through family.
While I agree with you, you have to also think back to before the internet. There was ads posted in newspapers and other magazines, and then you pen pal that way. There are other things that got people communicating with them. While it took longer than the instantaneous social media, it still happened.
I think without the internet, it's easier to isolate.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know that that's really... The internet's really pulling you out of isolation to begin with. That's a choice of your own.
No, yeah, but I think without the being able to, like, be in your comfort zone and then reach out from, like, where you feel most comfortable when you're in a dark space.
Well, I think the difference, one of the main differences and like you were saying, is the instantaneous part of it. You can send a comment and immediately have them send a comment back. So it's like you're actually carrying on a conversation like you would be in a room, versus through mail that would take a couple of days to get them to read it, and then a couple of days for them to send a response.
But on that same sword, do you think not having the internet would force people to have to go out and be more social?
It depends on the person. I mean, people that don't want to be social now don't be social now, whether there's internet or not.
Yeah.
Taking the internet away, I don't think changes it all that much. There's just more reason not to go out. I mean, what's the real purpose behind it? Again, I mean, it's the instantaneous thing that somehow pulls you out of the dark hole? I don't know.
It could be for some people.
I guess,
Well,
but then what's the difference between that and a pen pal when we've got a mail system that takes a day to get mail to someone?
Here's my thing with that. You would be fine. You're thinking the way someone who grew up without it thinks. For someone who has never lived without all of that instantaneous
It
knowledge
could feel more
and
isolated.
connection,
Absolutely.
they absolutely could feel less connected to people and not know or understand or really, they.
Because the theoretical situation is if we have had it up to this point and then all of a sudden it's gone. What's that gonna fucking
So
do
your
to
generations that were born with it and having it.
And how did they
Don't
learn
know
those
how
coping
to-
skills
yeah,
without
don't
being
know
able
how
how
to
to
cope
Google?
Well, sure. Well, I agree there's going to be a disconnect for some. I think that a lot of the. I wish I could get this word that's on the tip of my tongue out, but I haven't been able to freaking figure it out. Is, since it's all. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe that's just my experience on social media and whatnot, that it's all just surface level stuff. Even trying to chat and talk with people is nothing out of it. So,
Well, I mean, and with the internet gone, also goes the dating apps.
Oh, yeah.
So
sure,
people
but-
using the
That's
dating
where all
apps,
the lonely people
right?
go.
So you wouldn't be able to use those to. You would have to go back to the being set up by friends,
Speed dating.
speed dating.
Who remembers
bars
that?
and clubs and
bars
all
and
of that.
clubs and newspaper
Bars-
classifieds.
listen,
and-
Out of my experience, bars and clubs are probably the worst fucking place to meet people. But
Probably.
But still, I mean, if you only have a few options rather than going on the internet and going to a dating website where you can actually see the photo of the person and talk to the person and get a feel for the person.
yeah.
I don't know, that whole, I guess, but then that brings me back to it's all surface level stuff. Once you get past all that, what really is there?
But you're thinking like a millennial who grew up in both worlds, with and without it. You're not thinking as Generation Z.
Well, also,
that's-
I'm hung up that you're hung up on the whole surface level thing. Like, you can build connections through the internet. Absolutely. You can have them without never meeting that person face to face. Like, this exists.
Oh, I don't disagree that it does exist, but I think there's a difference between an actual interaction between two people when there's no electronic devices there compared to an interaction that's only through an electronic device. There has to be a difference. You can't tell me that me texting someone and only texting someone can develop the same relationship as me sitting here and talking to a person and physically interacting with someone.
You can't do that. That doesn't mean someone else can't.
I never said I can't. I'm just saying that it seems that there is a difference.
One's on a phone and one's in person. You can only get so much of a feeling for a person, even if you talk to them for years and years and never meet them. It's different because you don't have that. You don't see their expressions. You don't see their reactions. You don't hear them per se. Even through the phone when you call them and talk to them, it's still different than in person to person. So there's still that disconnect between talking to someone over the phone or through Facebook or through a dating app or through whatever.
Right.
Then
I don't know.
person to
I just
person.
wouldn't call it surface level.
Okay, you can call it whatever you want. I don't think it's going to be the same. You can't compare them and call them equal.
No, I mean, but you're like the implication that you cannot develop a deep relationship with someone that way. It's what it feels like when you say it's just surface level. Like, you make it sound like it's shallow.
You may develop a relationship, but I don't think it'll be as deep as one with someone actually there that you can meet in person. I think there is a definite disconnect
Probably
between
because
the
you
two.
can't touch or...
Touch isn't everything for people.
Some people it is.
No, I'm not saying it's for everyone. Now, whether they see it or not, there is a distinct difference. I mean, there's science behind it. There is a difference between completely only texting someone, and while you may feel that it's a very deep relationship, if you ever meet that person in real life, then you'll understand there's a deeper part to it than just what you're seeing. So while it seems to be a certain level of relationship, it will never be the same level of relationship as someone that meets person to person and has interactions with them that way. Because you're not going to get the same things.
You don't get the same things, but I think you get the same feelings.
There's definitely a difference.
Have you ever been in a long distance relationship?
Yes. Plus, there's plenty of studies that show that there's a difference.
It's the same thing with like military overseas and their family being back here. You can talk so much through Skype and Zoom and all that stuff and calls, but actually being with that person, being able to hug and kiss and laugh with and share experiences is different.
I mean, I absolutely I know it's different.
Yeah.
I just also think you can absolutely surmount the same amount of love that way.
Well, I don't think he's saying you can't. I think he's saying the feelings.
No, there's more to it. There's a deeper level of a relationship when all of a sudden there's a meeting in person than there is of a text only thing. Now, and that's the thing that we're talking about, or I'm talking about, is we're talking about a texting only relationship compared to a in-person relationship. So
Same love.
Well, right.
Different
well, it doesn't.
execution.
Yeah. Well, it's still valid. He's not trying to make it sound not valid.
right. I think you're just defensive.
A little defensive. Surface level this, surface level that.
Well, I mean, there's science behind it. If you don't want to talk about stuff with a sciencey guy, then don't talk about stuff with
Get
a sciencey guy.
the fuck out of here like you're a
so-
goddamn scientist.
Oh, I'm getting there. 5 more years. But anyways, I mean,
I would be personally lost without the internet.
well, yeah, no, I think
So
most people are.
I
Even
get my
people
recipes from there. I talk to people through that. I don't fucking go out
Well,
during the
even-
daytime. What the fuck's
Even
that?
people that were with the internet before are gonna have issues
Yeah.
if internet goes away. Because I don't think that we honestly understand how interwebbed the internet is with our current lifestyle.
Oh yes. It's
Like,
everything.
Yeah, I think people would be surprised at how much the internet actually is.
Right.
If we look at its
Even
true-
without electricity, we still had access to internet because of fucking 4 and 5G.
Right.
So
But then
Well, and
that's
hotspot.
all different, and to think about all the things that are controlled nowadays through the internet. I mean, you're probably talking traffic lights, electrical
God.
systems, water systems, gas systems.
I mean, you basically go, I think if you take the internet out, you basically go back to the 1800s, early
the
1900s.
navigation systems, all that's gone. No
Yeah.
more
People would have to
Google
learn maps again.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what is a map?
Banking
God.
would go. Going to the gas station to get gas in your car, yeah, you're going back to horse and carriages. I mean, pretty much, or bicycles, things that don't have computer chips in it.
I don't think you need like internet to like convoy places.
Well, it's just that. What do you think they run? Like when you put your card in there, their systems, their cash register systems. What do you think all of that runs off of?
Oh yeah, no, you'd absolutely have to use cash, but I mean,
Well, even cash.
no.
I mean, when you pay the register per clerk, I mean, they have POSs, but all of their reports and things, like a lot of small businesses use QuickBooks. That
Maybe, but
I used to work in
I
a place
wanna
that still
think
used
that
paper for fucking finances.
credit
So
cards and stuff can be without the interwebs.
can they? Can credit cards be without the internet?
yes, they can.
I don't think credit
Before
cards.
they
yeah,
could,
I don't
but
think
I
credit
think
cards just
everything's
started showing
converted
up
over
after the
to-
internet became.
No, but I think
I'm
that.
pretty sure there were credit cards way
But
back
like
in the
you
day.
said, everything's so interwebbed right now. Everyone's updated and upgraded that
Well,
you don't know
yeah,
what they're using
you
for their systems.
Imagine going back to the telephone wire.
For a card payment machine to function, you need an internet connection.
Wow.
Yeah.
When the fuck did credit cards become a thing?
And if the electric
Right.
companies are using internet to run everything, their gas stations aren't going to work because the power's going to go off. You have no power. You have no electricity, no water, no gas. Maybe gas. I don't know.
I
but-
think we can do all those things without internet.
There's
but
gonna
the
be
companies running them uses the systems. Their
Right.
systems run on
no,
internet.
I get what you're saying. So you'd have a retro back to some
Right,
state
exactly.
before the internet.
Because I have programs at work where some of them I have to have internet. If I don't have internet, the network goes down. We can't do anything. We can't run any reports to do anything. And we have some that we can continue on and finish those reports and audits. But we're only done with not even half of our work until the network comes back up. And
Right.
we're on a scan in system where we scan everything in and upload it and update it. You have to have a network connection to upload it to the system that we work on, because I tried to get onto the system without a network connection and I couldn't get onto it.
Mhm.
So all the businesses that once ran without electricity or without the interwebs do now. And so
Yeah.
it's not that you can't get the electricity, it's that those companies are going to have to go back to
a state before the internet.
exactly.
It's like, I'm pretty sure with like credit cards, they just need to retro back to a system.
Well, no, and the
Gas
system
pumps
is
telephone
just the
would have to go
numbers,
back.
but
Water facilities would have to go back because they have no way of seeing who is and isn't does and doesn't have water, or is or isn't supposed to have water, because that's a system that they have that they use internet connections to run
Yeah.
report.
I wonder how long would it be before things started to retro back before the internet? Like, because you couldn't get your money out of the bank. You didn't be able to pay for anything.
wouldn't be able to prove it either.
You wouldn't be able to prove you had money in the bank.
Right. Which is why a lot of people don't use banks.
Well, I don't know about that word. A lot of people don't use banks, but
No, a lot of older people do not use banks. My dad only started using a bank because my mom did the finances. He hated his credit or his debit card. He never used it.
well, some people are just weird
Some people are just not you.
and weird.
I mean, I think it's weird, but also, I grew up with
Again,
this.
I was born in the 60s.
Fucking, why is your mattress for your bed so lumpy? This is where I put all my money.
Fuck. Fucking A.
Fuck banks. Yeah, fuck all your money when your
No,
house
you have to
burns
say
down.
people
Oof,
would
you
say
know?
this. You just don't tell anybody.
Oof. That's why people like coinage. Coins don't burn.
Oh God, how pissed off are the cryptocurrency people?
Oh, no!
What is that crypto coin at? 40 grand or something for a crypto coin right now?
Oh, it would be like the stock market crash again. People would be throwing themselves off buildings.
Crash. The stock market crash. You'd be seeing suicides all over the place from businessmen again,
man.
because I think it would put us in a depression. I think
My
it would.
first question would be,
100%.
where is the 70s movement and where can I get the good stuff?
Jesus fuck Christ. So, I mean, think about that. When the internet goes down, pray to fuck God that you are one, not on a ship,
Yeah.
train, or
Plane.
airplane.
Why?
Or around an airport.
How do you get the navigation and everything? You better hope your pilot can be fucking going off without instruments.
Oh, I'm
and
sure they
shit.
know those routes. I'm sure. They'll find somewhere to land. It will be okay. Do trains run on internet now? Like, what's wrong? Like,
But think about it.
I would think so.
Almost, probably 90% of it, all of it, run off the internet.
There's got to be some connection to it.
Yeah.
Gotta be. Air traffic controllers, the whole networking systems.
Use radio waves. Don't need internet for that.
Sure, but
They only reach so far.
how much of those systems are relied upon by pilots? You better hope they get some kind of training to run with no instruments.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
You sit
They're
there and
trained
say
for
I'm
all
sure,
emergency
but
situations.
You better hope your assumption's right.
Fuck.
You trust that assumption. I'll just keep to my car.
I also don't fly, so.
the only thing I have to worry about
I'm
my
good.
car not working in my car when the internet goes down is the Google Maps. And if I have a paper map in the glove box, I'm good. No, I'm not. I can't read a map, so.
Good try, though. Good try.
Sounded right.
Figure it out. It's like,
Yeah.
Hey, how do I get here? Hey. You just start waving people
before
down.
that, we would be in Dallas, and my mom wouldn't know where she was at. She'd pull into a gas station and be like, hey, how do I get to this highway? And they'd be like, you just go down here and around and back
You
up.
have to talk to people again.
Oh yeah.
Gross.
Back to talking to people.
Mm-mm. No thanks.
Wow.
I like my internet.
Internets.
Jeez. All right, jammers. Like, comment, subscribe, hit us up. Let us know what you think. Twitter, Instagram. What would you do if the internet went bye-bye? Jam with us next time. Bye.